With Trump in the game, Bitcoin's rebellious, do-it-yourself, mid-70s like cypherpunk era is truly done and dusted. Nation state, hedge funds, and sovereign wealth funds game theory kicks in, price heading to 1 million. Remember, Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. Keep that in mind, is that Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. And, with that, he said it's going to 1 million. I think it could go to 100 million, could go to a billion, it could go to a trillion, because there's no top for it. Fiat has no bottom. Everything on earth, including Ethereum, especially Ethereum, is going to continue to fall in comparison to Bitcoin. Jason says the people want to know, how is Arnie? Arnie's fine. Arnie's fine. He's laying in his bed right now. He was part of the issue this morning, but he's okay. He's still alive. He's still kicking. No need to worry about Arnie. Fanta says Trump will say anything to get idiots to vote for him. I mean, that's your opinion. I have a much different opinion on that. He's a politician. And the one thing, honestly, well, just because of this comment, I was kind of done with the Trump talk for today. But at the same time, Trump is the reason, aside from the Bitcoin thing and discovering Bitcoin, the CBDCs, but Trump really opened my eyes to everything. In 2020, there was a lot of uncertainty. There were a lot of weird things happening in the world. And now there was a lot of questions I had without any sort of answers. And as I started digging into a few things that Trump was connected to in some ways, and people within his inner circle and what they were saying, it made a lot of sense to me. And it really opened my eyes to what had been going on in the world, completely behind the curtains to me. I had no idea that any of this was going on, in terms of the dollar, in terms of governments, in terms of big pharma, in terms of all of that. I was completely oblivious and blind to it. And Trump was the guy. Trump, in a roundabout way, was the person who opened my eyes to all of this. And so, I mean, you can just say that he's a politician and he's just trying to get people to vote for him. I disagree with that. I think that he's made a very lasting difference in a lot of people's lives. And if you look at his rallies, you can see and feel the energy there, because there's a lot of people at those rallies, and the people who show up for those rallies who went through the same thing. They've been lied to for their entire lives up to this point. And there's finally a person up on stage who's talking to us and wants to help us. And there's never been anybody like that before. All the other politicians, you could tell that they were just reading somebody else's words. And this was a guy who was very candid and very, people say that he's dumb. I think he's one of the most intelligent people out there. If you watch his speeches, a lot of the stuff that he says is off the cuff. Some of it's rehearsed and gone through in his mind before, but he says what he wants to say. He doesn't say what people tell him to say. And for a politician, that's a big deal. So you can think what you want on him. I don't really care. He's the reason, he woke me up to a lot of things that were going on in the world, and I'll be forever grateful for him for that. So that's it. Lots